Please open in your learning workbook to page 122. Let's solve an example problem. Add the proper constant to the binomial so that the resulting trinomial is a perfect square trinomial. Okay, so this uses the skill we just talked about in the previous video. First thing you want to do is verify that the coefficient of your variable squared term is 1. Because if it's not 1, then you can't use this trick. Alright, for our problem, it's 1. This is the same as 1x squared. We don't typically write that 1, but we understand that it's a hidden number. Alright, next, look at your middle term coefficient and cut it in half. So we have 11. 11 cut in half would be 11 over 2. Now my advice is, whatever the number is, write it underneath. You'll see why in a moment. Next, square this number. We'll do this in our side workspace. Alright, so what is 11 over 2 squared? Well, that would be 11 over 2 times another 11 over 2. And the rule for multiplying fractions is multiply across the numerators to get the new numerator, multiply across the denominators to get the new denominator. 11 times 11 is 121. 2 times 2 is 4. So the number that has to go in the blank is the fraction 121 fourths. Okay, now we have to factor this. And you might be thinking, ugh, how do I do that? How do I factor with this nasty, ugly fraction, 121 over 4? Well, the good news is we've already done the hard part by writing this here. If you want to figure out how this factors, all you have to do is put x in front of it and then this sign. Then put it in parentheses and square it. So this is the first answer to the first question, what number has to go to the blank? And this is the answer to the second question, what do you get when you factor? Now, of course, we solved this entire problem using fractions, but what if we wanted to use decimals? Could we do that? The answer is yes. So let's solve it again. All right, here we go. This is a 1, so we can proceed. 11 divided by 2 is 5.5, specifically positive 5.5. 5.5 squared is 30.25. So that's the number that goes in the blank. And then to factor this trinomial, all we have to do is put the variable in front of this number, put it in parentheses, and square it. These are the two answers to the question in decimal form. Now, which one is my math lab going to want? Decimals or fractions? Most of the time, my math lab is going to want fractions, and for good reason. Not all fractions can be written as terminating decimals, and if you round your answer, it's no longer accurate. So, I strongly encourage you to practice this skill with fractions because 9 times out of 10, fractions will be required in order to solve the problem.